Kingdom of Heaven is one of the most memorable medieval films I watched when I was a kid, and that is because it had amazing siege and battle scenes, great sword fights, and awesome looking characters in their Templar and Crusader costumes, especially King Baldwin. I found out about this movie because I have been watching the Lord of the Rings trilogy so many times, and I wanted to watch something a little different. A film that also had a lot of sword fights and battle scenes, but in a new world. I had already watched Troy back then, so that was out of the question. That is when I learned about Kingdom of Heaven, a film that was set during the Crusades and would have a lot of action scenes based on the trailer. I was a kid back then, so that was the only part that was important to me. I was extremely happy that I watched this because it satisfied my cravings for those kinds of films. It even sparked my interest in history and architecture. I have continued to watch this film every now and then as an adult, and while the battle scenes still excite me, I have now begun to appreciate the other parts of the film more. There is one particular scene that is now my favorite part of the film. There are no battle scenes, nor sword fights, nor any kind of action here. Just a deep dialogue between a man and a king. It was the scene where Balian, the protagonist, meets King Baldwin for the first time, and it is one of the most profound scenes I have ever watched. The dialogue between them had great implications on the events of the film later on. Because of their conversation, Balian decided to decline King Baldwin's request, which set off another war for the conquest of Jerusalem. But other than the effects it had in the story, the conversation between them was full of wisdom that goes beyond the film, because everything that they talked about can be applied to one's own life. A king may move a man, but the soul belongs only to himself. That was such a great line that it made me think about my own life and the choices I made. Furthermore, the way that King Baldwin expounds on it was very articulated. The theological justifications that he made was so interesting, which brings me to my next point as to why this scene is so great, because of King Baldwin. King Baldwin is one of my favorite characters in cinema. Even though he had a limited screen time in the film, he owned every second of it. It is rare to see a king depicted in film who is very powerful, wise in his speech, and smart about his enemies, and King Baldwin is all of those. He is a righteous king, but can be ruthless when he needs to, and he cares about the lives of all his citizens, no matter the religion they worship. Lastly, the reason why this dialogue is so profound is because it revealed what kind of character King Baldwin truly is, a wise and honorable ruler that is respected even by his enemies. He is a king affected by a terminal illness, but nevertheless, he accepted his fate and continued to serve and protect his people. All the things he told Balian were also the things he did and led his people by example, a mark of a true ruler.